What's up everybody, Mike here. I made my homemade pasta sauce and you're gonna see how. The ingredients for my red pasta sauce are right in front of me. We're starting out with 2 cans of peeled San Marzano tomatoes, 28 ounces each. You're also going to use a little bit of water from one of the cans, not only to rinse out all of the stuff, but also to help prevent it from over-reducing when you're cooking this for several hours. About 1/4 cup of your olive oil of choice, about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of red wine. That's just going to be used to deglaze the pan after you are done sauteing down your red onion and your 4 tablespoons of garlic. Then for the flavorings and the herbs, you have some fresh basil that I'm going to dunk all the way into my sauce while it's cooking and then pull it out before I blend everything smooth. Red chili flake, dried oregano, and some salt. I'm going to walk you through the process to make my sauce next. The very first thing that you are going to do for my homemade pasta sauce is heat up your olive oil into a very heavy bottom cast iron pot or a stock pot, because this is going to be cooking for a long time, about 3 or 4 hours. When it's hot and just starting to smoke, in goes my roughly chopped onions. I'm not worried about chopping my onions super fine here, because eventually I am going to blitz this in a food processor to make sure that it is completely smooth. So I'm just going to saute this down for a little bit. So my onions are starting to break down a little bit, and I'm going to use this opportunity to dump in my garlic and start sauteing that off as well. The last stage of the sauteing process is that I actually want to add in about a tablespoon of red pepper flake now, so that it can start perfuming the oil and really bring out the aromatics to fully flavor my red sauce. So my garlic and onions and red pepper are done sauteing. I have a nice bit of fond down in the bottom. So all that I want to do right now is deglaze this pan with my red wine. Just about 1/4 cup, maybe a little more, but make sure to scrape up all of those bits on the bottom, because that's a lot of flavor. Now that that's in, I'm going to go ahead and add in my tomatoes. Go ahead and rinse out both of your cans with a little bit of water and then dump the resulting liquid right in here. Go ahead and use your spatula to break up some of your tomatoes, but you don't need to try and get this super smooth right now, because like I said, I'm going to blend this in the food processor when it's done cooking before I ever eat it. So last thing that is going into this pot is my fresh basil. I'm literally just submerging this whole bunch. And now this is going to get covered with a tiny opening so that some steam can escape. I'm going to crank this heat down to low, and this is going to cook on low in this super heavy pot for about 3 hours. I'm going to check on it occasionally, show you what it's looking like as it's cooking down, but this is essentially done as far as cooking goes. It just takes time right now. So you'll see me in a little bit. We are about 90 minutes into the cook time for my homemade pasta sauce. It is nowhere near done yet. The tomatoes aren't breaking down fully, but it is starting to get nice and steamy in there. So I have this temperature set to a medium low. I still am going to leave the cover on with a little gap right here so that some steam can escape, and this reduces just a little bit. But I'm going to check on it routinely over the next hour and a half to 2 hours, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the process along the way. So we are about 3.5 total hours of cooking, and you can see that the color has gotten deep red. Everything has started to break down on its own. While there are some big chunks of tomato, there aren't that many. So I'm going to turn off the heat, and I'm going to let this sit uncovered now for about 15 minutes just so that it can cool down. I'm then going to remove as much of the basil as I'm able to get out of here / what did not disintegrate into this. Then I'm going to go ahead and blitz it into my blender to get it nice and smooth. So my pasta sauce has cooled. I have my blender out. All that I need to do right now before being finally able to use this is blend it up. So I'm going to do that very quickly. And that's how you make my pasta sauce. I'm gonna tear into my dinner. I really hope you enjoy it, but for right now, just look at my face.